What's up everyone, it's Tessa from Super Street. We're here back at Gary's shop. So as you can see, there was some work done from the last time. Could you tell us what was done last time, Gary?
Yeah, so what we ended up doing was we installed the EXEDY clutch. We also installed the center diff, and we did the extended wheel studs and the Hawk brake pads.
So what else is gonna get done before Speed Ring?
So we have a lot of stuff on the engine that's gonna happen today, starting with everything from the turbo to the intake manifold and some of the intercooler piping and the fuel pump. But a lot of it is also on the electronic side of it. So we have an ECU and a bunch of other sensors and injectors that gotta go inside this thing. So once that's all buttoned up, then we'll have Sam from AEM come over to Road Race Engineering and start tuning away.
Right on. All right, Gary, I'm gonna let you to it and see, we'll see how it comes out.
Okay, so this is the comparison of the factory turbo versus the FP Performance turbo. And it's the manifold and O2 housings and everything on it. Some of the cool differences between the two is one, the factory one uses a swing valve with an actuator, which has been known to back up as far as boost wise. So you'll get boost creep with this setup if you go really high boost. The good part about the FP one is it's casted with a stainless turbine housing that allows you to actually run a tile wastegate on the side of it. And the fitment is still just like factory because it normally would sit right here and you would never have a boost creep problem. Okay, so since the FP setup uses a ball bearing cartridge, they also provided a restrictor so that way the oiling actually is perfect for this setup. So let's go ahead and install all this and see how it goes. Okay, so this is the OEM intake manifold in comparison with the Skunk 2 intake manifold. There are a few things that we actually have to dismantle off this thing and put it on the other one. So from the TPS to the idle air control solenoid, we actually have to transfer those onto the new Skunk 2 throttle body. The one thing that's pretty weird about this is normally this is something that you're always trying to adjust, and you would definitely do that when you have a OEM ECU. But since our car is actually running the Infinity ECU, we can calibrate that all inside of the computer so that way it'll line up perfect. Okay, so with our TPS and our idle air control valve installed, basically what we're gonna try and do next is figure out part of the map sensor. The other thing that we actually did that's different is we actually did change the injectors. So the stock ones are right around 550, 560 cc's. The Grams injectors are actually 1600 cc's, which should make it to where we have plenty of fuel for how much horsepower we're actually gonna make. One of the other great things that we actually did was with the EROMOTIVE fuel rail that we have, we had to adapt our EROMOTIVE fuel pressure regulator on here with our fuel pressure sensor that also goes to the AEM Infinity. So the great thing about this is literally it's adjustable so we can do our static fuel pressure and it's still a 1-to-1 where it goes off of vacuum. Okay, so with the factory bumper off, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and replace the OEM aluminum and the OEM rubber pieces with the Mishimoto silicone connectors and aluminum piping. Okay, so we're gonna install the Suspension Technique sway bar, and it's just the rear sway bar. We're not putting a front sway bar in it. A lot of the times on an EVO, one of the big issues is understeer. So a thicker rear sway bar actually helps a lot with understeer on the car. So what we have is we have an adapter bracket that's gonna bolt right where the factory one goes. And we have the urethane bracket that holds the sway bar. So what we have to do is we're gonna lube this side up and bolt the whole thing in there with the bar. And that should be it. It's basically like a factory replacement. Okay, this is the factory EVO fuel pump. So what we're replacing it with is the EROMOTIVE Stealth pump, which pumps 340 liters per hour. So the factory EVO pump uses a different type of connector than what the Stealth one uses. So basically, that normally just clips in right there. So what we gotta do is, this one is what's normally on there, so we have to clip that one off, and we just do the connectors so that way they just plug in just like this. And we just secure it with some zip ties. Just like that. Okay, so for the last thing that we have to install is the AEM dash. We're using all the factory gauges and everything right here, so we're gonna go ahead and just install it right here. And then once we're done with that, it's gonna go to Road Race and they'll be able to tune it and see all the data and everything. And you'll see all that in the next episode.